Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Look, and it's always like excitement for me every single time I get to partner with one of my favorite brands in the universe, Better Than Bouillon. There's a plethora of reasons why I love Better Than Bouillon. Well, one being that it comes in a jar, right? So it's super, super compact to pop in your fridge. They have a super long life in the refrigerator once you crack them open. Very generous expiration dates on these jars. It's usually over a year from when you find them, then they'll expire, so you're gonna get plenty out of it. Plus, it's a base, meaning you mix 1 teaspoon typically with this, with 1 cup of water, and you get 1 cup of broth. However, I wanted to show you today that you go beyond using Better Than Bouillon than just broth. We can use it to flavor sauces. In this case, a pasta dish. And in this case, an extra simple pasta dish. I'm actually focusing on Better Than Bouillon's amazing Culinary Collection. It's kind of like their new line where they have 4 different flavors. But today I'm focusing on Italian herb, okay? So this is the Better Than Bouillon Italian herb base from the Culinary Collection. It is wondrous. And I'm gonna show you how it's gonna amplify an amazing Spaghetti Aglio Olio, which is really no more than a spaghetti, some olive oil, perhaps some crushed red pepper flakes, some Parmesan cheese if you wanna add that in there. But it's gonna be taken to the next level when we add some of this into that amazing olive oil and infuse it in there. You're gonna see how easy this is. So we're gonna go right to the stove top and we're gonna simply prepare some Spaghetti Aglio Olio featuring Better Than Bouillon. So it's gonna make you go, oh, oh, oh. You know what I'm saying? Let's just do it. So simple. Let's go. So the very first thing I wanna do, whenever I do a pasta recipe on the stove, is I use an 8-quart pot. Or soup pot, whatever. 8 quarts is what I go for, and all I do is I fill it up halfway, so about 4 quarts of water. Now, a little trick here to speed things along is when you're filling it, have the tap water get a little bit hot from the faucet, right? It'll speed it along, it'll cut down on the time versus if it was super cold from the get-go. I'll turn on the stove, the temperature up to the highest it'll go, to bring that to a rolling boil. Okay, and after however long it takes for your pot to come to a rolling boil, which is exactly what we see here, it'll be different depending if it's gas, induction, electric. Induction will be the fastest. I now want to salt the water, and typically some people like to salt it before it boils. I think it's smarter to salt it after because the boiling water will quickly dissolve the salt. So what I want to do is add about 1 tablespoon of kosher salt to the water, but you can use any kind of salt. That is fine. And now it is time to add our pasta. For this, I'm going to simply add 1 box, which is typically 1 pound, so 1 pound of spaghetti, and put it in there. And very quickly, you'll be able to press down on your spaghetti. It'll become limber relatively fast from the water. Just put it in there. I am not breaking my spaghetti in half. Notice, if I was doing this in the Instant Pot, I would, so it would fit, but since I'm not, I don't have to do that. Now, here's a huge tip. Sometimes when pasta boils, people sometimes put a spoon on top to help it not do the overflow. I find that's like a myth. I don't think that ever works. All I do is I reduce my heat to simply a medium at this point, and I really feel like that's all that it takes. It'll still cook your pasta exactly how long the box says, and speaking of which, how long are we cooking our pasta? Go for whatever the box says for al dente. I'm using spaghetti. The box told me to go for 7 minutes for al dente. Any brand you use or any kind of pasta you use will give you a different time. Just follow for al dente. All right, so the pasta's cooking. I set a timer for that. We're good to go. Now we're gonna move on to making the amazing sauce. This is a 5-quart saute pan. That's what I use to make all my sauces because the main reason being a saute pan has high walls. And at the end, I'm gonna marry the pasta with the sauce in the pan. What I wanna do is I wanna add a 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil to my saute pan. And I'm gonna turn my heat up on my stove to a medium high. Get that nice and heated up. And by the way, notice how my pasta, it's not spilling over. It's all about reducing the heat to a medium. I'm telling you, it's gonna cook just as well, perfectly, and you don't have to worry about that spillage where your whole stovetop becomes crusty and full of salt and all that jazz. You don't want that. Okay, and once the oil begins to like shimmer, and that basically sounds exactly as it does, kind of gives it like a reflective look in about 3 minutes, it should be heated up. What I want to do now is I want to add garlic, and in this situation it's 12 cloves, okay? That's a lot of garlic, but it's, believe me, it's perfect for this dish, and it's wonderfully fragrant and delicious. You can either slice them into slivers, or just use some crushed or minced garlic. Even use the stuff from the jar if you want to make things easier. 12 cloves, add that to the olive oil. Optionally, we can spice this up by adding some crushed red pepper flakes in. And in this situation, I am going to use 1 teaspoon. You can use less or more. We don't want our garlic to burn, so just slightly brown. So reduce that heat to a medium or even a medium low. And the secret to making this aglio olio extra amazing is to use my Better Than Bouillon Italian herb base from the Culinary Collection. This stuff is absolutely incredible and it's so easy. All I'm gonna do is unscrew the top. As you can see, I've used plenty of this in many other dishes because I love it so much. Scoop a teaspoon of it right into the mix and then just put the lid right back on and pop it in the fridge for another dish in the future. But right now it's all about this. We'll stir that in to the oil and the garlic, making an unbelievable flavor. You see that our garlic has got a nice toasty color. That's perfect. I actually want to kill the heat now because my pasta's just about done. That looks nice. Okay, so my time is up for the al dente cook time for my pasta. And you see it's a very light boil, and I'm gonna just make sure I taste it first and test it to make sure it's good. Here's a strand of pasta. Perfect. Al dente means to the tooth. If it's a slight bite to it, that's exactly what I want. Because guess what? We're gonna now strain the pasta, and then we're gonna add it to that amazing mixture we just did in the saute pan. So now what I wanna do is I wanna take my pot, if you feel like it's hot, of course use mitts. Take this and we're gonna go right to the sink. Before I strain anything, I wanna reserve 1 cup of this pasta water. So it's important to do that because there's a lot of starch in this water that the pasta released into it, and it's gonna help with our amazing sauce at the end. So 1 cup will do the trick, and then take the rest of it and then just pour it through a colander that's in the sink. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, now that it's nice and strained, we're not gonna rinse our pasta, we wanna keep that starch on there. We're gonna bring it right back to the pan and we're gonna pour it in. And for the final touches to bring everything together, I wanna add about 1/2 cup of my pasta water first. If we wanna add more later, we will. As well as between 1/2 cup to a whole cup of a grated Parmesan cheese. Now we're gonna get in here and we're gonna mix our spaghetti up with everything. The cheese, the garlic, the oil that is infused with that amazing Better Than Bouillon Italian herb base from the Culinary Collection. And you're gonna see this is a very simple, very light, vibrant dish, but it's gonna have a wonderful, wonderful flavor. And after a few moments of everything resting, everything's gonna come together really nicely. If you want to, you can now add additional olive oil, a drizzle of it, or even more of that pasta water. I reserved an entire cup, but I used 1/2 cup. That's up to you. And there is my pasta that I just plated into a little dish here, however you want to do it. And now comes the fun part, to top it off if you want. I like to put some fresh parsley on top. You don't have to, but it's a nice little touch. Maybe some more Parmesan cheese, and perhaps even a few extra crushed red pepper flakes. Now, it's time to dig in. Let's do it. And here it is, my Spaghetti Aglio Olio. Again, with that amazing Better Than Bouillon Italian herb base from the Culinary Collection. And a little twirl of the fork. Look at how lovely. Let's give it a try. So I've always loved this dish because it's so simple, it's light, it's beyond easy and quick to make. But I confess I've never had it with a little touch of Better Than Bouillon in it before. It makes a world of difference. The flavor profiles have just elevated sky high. And I don't think, honestly, I'm being truthful when I say these things, I don't think I'll ever make it any other way again now. Because that Italian herb base makes a huge difference here. I love adding the crushed red pepper flakes because it creates this really nice element of like a spicy kick to it, but it's not overpowering. So if you're somebody who likes a mild spice, maybe just use like, I don't know, 1/2 teaspoon versus a whole teaspoon, but even a whole isn't bad. But if spice isn't your game, you simply leave that out. You do not have to add those crushed red pepper flakes. Pretty, fun, and again, light and loaded with flavor. Do not be fooled by how simple the pasta itself looks. It is loaded with flavor. Chef's kiss, delicious, glorious. So where can you find Better Than Bouillon? Well, so many supermarkets have them, typically in the soup section, as well as wholesale clubs even have them. However, if you can't seem to find them at your local market, just go to betterthanbouillon.com and check out the options they have there. Did you know that all my recipes are incredibly easy? I have written 4 cookbooks, for the Instant Pot. This is not an Instant Pot recipe. However, I might now be inspired for my next book because pastas are so simple and so easy. I don't know, maybe, I'm thinking maybe we'll do pastas of really easy stuff. Delicious, just like this, just as easy. You can get them anywhere books are sold. And it's a rainbow of flavor, all right? It's the Rainbow Collection. Cook the rainbow, I say. So I have a little culinary collection of my own here. See, this is the culinary collection for Better Than Bouillon. This is my culinary collection. They go hand in hand together real nice. Check me out at facebook.com/pressurelookcooking. Make sure you like that page anytime a new item comes out, recipes, deals, tips, things like that. I always want to make sure you're aware of that. My website is pressurelookcooking.com, where so many of my recipes live for free. Just go there and check them out. And at Pressure Look Cooking and all the other social channels. Again, my friends, thank you so much for watching. And the next time you want to make a fantastic pasta dish and go at a really nice and easy pace, well, all it takes is your Better Than Bouillon Italian herb base from the Culinary Collection and make some amazing spaghetti or linguine or penne, whatever pasta you want to use. Aglio e olio. It is absolutely out of this world delicious. Oh, I love it. It's gonna give you joy just doing this. Well, it gives me that. Enjoy.